across the fence, they line our streets, dot our landscapes, and fill our forests. We'll draw awareness to ash trees for the benefits they provide and the threats they face. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. In a state renowned for its maple trees, you may be surprised to learn that there are over 100 million ash trees across Vermont. Ash trees play an important role in our economy, and they provide a myriad of benefits for wildlife and the environment. But the survival of ash is now threatened by an exotic, destructive insect, the emerald ash borer. So a statewide effort is underway to raise awareness of ash trees and to call attention to the emerald ash borer. In just a moment, we'll see how one Vermont community is taking inventory of its ash trees, but we begin with efforts by Vermont school kids to draw attention to the importance of ash. Thousands of students across the state in grades 1 through 7 created tree trading cards for Fraxinus. That's the Latin name for ash. On the front of the card is the student's artwork, and on the back of the card are facts about ash trees that were researched by the students. Awards were given to the best student card in each grade, and we've asked the winners to be with us this afternoon to help recognize their efforts to raise awareness of ash trees. The first grade winner is Leica Kaplan. Leica is a student at Facein Elementary School. Leica's trading card focuses on the benefits of ash trees. You can see her artwork on the front. And on the back, Leica wrote about benefits, such as providing shade and giving animals a place to sleep. Her card concludes that ash trees clean the air. Our congratulations to Leica. The second grade winner is Isaiah Dowland. Isaiah is from Newport City Elementary School. In his trading card, Isaiah shows us the importance of ash trees to animals and insects. Isaiah learned that ash seeds are eaten by turkey, ducks, and other birds, and that the tree cavities provide habitat and shelter for wildlife. Nicely done, Isaiah. Well, moving on to the third grade winner in the ash tree trading card contest. The award goes to Helen Culpo. Helen is a student at Castleton Elementary School. Her card highlights some of the economic benefits of ash, including the making of baseball bats and hardwood flooring. Helen's card also points out that the pattern of ash makes it ideal for making wooden bowls and tables. Congratulations to Helen. Our next winner is in fourth grade. Peyton Kingsbury attends Union Street School in Springfield. The trading card highlights the fact that ash trees provide food for wildlife. Peyton's detailed artwork is on the front of the card, and on the back side, Peyton writes that ash trees are found in a diverse range of ecosystems and that the bark from younger ash trees is used for food by beaver, porcupines, and rabbits. That's fourth grade winner Peyton Kingsbury. And in fifth grade, the winner is Andrew Gubbins of Pomfret School. Congratulations, Andrew. Now tell us a little bit about the artwork on the front of your card.
Well, my teacher, Mrs. Kaya, she encouraged me to go with my idea, which I used glue, and I drew the lines and all the trees with glue, and I painted over the glue with different colors.
Now, what are some of the things that you learned about the ash tree?
I learned that the ash tree, it helps give off shade.
And what else?
It helps erosion control. It helps stop floods.
Oh, that's great, because we've got a lot of water this spring. That's really good. Well, congratulations, Andrew, and thanks so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
Okay. The sixth grade winner is not able to be with us this afternoon, but we want to recognize Gabriel Schatz. Gabriel is a homeschooled student. For his card, he focused on the fact that ash trees help make vibrant communities by filtering our air and providing cooling properties in the warmer months. Our final winner this afternoon is a 7th grade student from Thetford Academy. I want to welcome Hannah Schwartz. Tell us a little bit about your beautiful card.
Well, I really liked, well, my mom encouraged me a little bit to do a heart. I thought of the idea I was going to do words in the branches of my ash tree. And so I looked up online and did a little research, and I found some facts that would be good for the branches.
And what did you learn about the ash tree?
I learned that a lot of animals, insects especially, use the ash trees for homes and food.
What kind of insects?
Well, spiders, moths, and other animals like beavers and, well, livestock use it for shade.
Incredible to think that just one tree has so many uses.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Well, congratulations, Hannah. You and all the other winners did a great job of raising awareness of the benefits of the ash tree. Now, these young students aren't the only ones researching and highlighting the benefits of ash trees. Rebecca Gollin reports on a class of UVM students that's taking ash tree inventory.
You know, maybe other people see that and it'll catch on.
UVM students have long had a reputation as tree huggers, but this is not a nature appreciation class.
We had a map and we were given, specific sections of the city that as teams of 3 we went out and looked at all the ash and maple trees in the city and assessed kind of their overall health conditions at the time, and just we're looking for any evidence or symptoms and signs of the insects to see if they were there.
The insect warranting this scrutiny is the emerald ash borer, or EAB. It's an invasive beetle that decimates ash trees. Originally from Asia, the EAB was first seen in the U.S. around 2002, after being accidentally introduced in the Detroit area.
Ash has a wide variety of uses. Just in Vermont, we have plants that are making baseball bats and tool handles, up to fine furniture.
So these are all ash.
Paul Frederick is a wood utilization specialist with the Vermont Division of Forests. He works primarily with the forest product industry, where ash plays a big role. He recently helped put together a report on the economic importance of Vermont's forests.
Roughly 7% of our standing wood in the state is ash. The biggest percentage is sugar maple, and then if going down the list, you end up with ash at about 7%. About 150 million trees, I think, is what's been thrown around as a number. But even though it's only 7% of the standing volume, it's about it's tied for number 2 as far as the amount of volume that's actually harvested and processed in the state every year.
Frederick, along with many others, has been spending a lot of time lately thinking of ways the state can plan for the arrival of emerald ash borer. The insect has not been detected in Vermont, but those who track it know it's only a matter of time.
When it comes into a new area, oftentimes it's moved by people moving firewood fairly innocently. Somebody has a tree die in their yard, so they cut that tree down into firewood, and in the lake states particularly, they found that people were taking that ash firewood up to their camp in the Upper Peninsula, or to Wisconsin, or parts of northern Michigan. And they ended up spreading the insect pretty quickly that way. So it tends to turn up in pockets and then expand from there. Not all ash are killed. They've been able to determine that there are some ash that survive, but 98% of the ash essentially dies in those areas from the infestation eventually.
Emerald ash borer are pretty much all around the perimeter of Vermont. It's found in Canada, it's in New York, in New Hampshire.
Professor Kimberly Wallen teaches forest ecosystem health at UVM. It's her students scattered across Winooski, surveying the street trees.
The female moth, if you look at the body size, the female moth has a much larger, thicker body than the male.
Previously, another student had gone around and measured the size and height of a whole bunch of maple and ash trees throughout Winooski, and what we were doing was going back and retaking some of those measurements, seeing if there's been a change, if we notice that, oh, this tree is dying or sick, or it's lost branches, or oh, it's been growing a lot in these past few years.
While some of the groups surveyed the trees in the neighborhoods of Winooski, others focused on the downtown area, where a number of the highly resilient ash trees line the streets.
Overall, I'd say it's in pretty good health, would you? Yeah.
When the review is done, the students will provide a final report to the town.
With the street tree plans that we give the communities, that the students give the communities, they can forecast how they're going to manage the ash trees. So what that really allows is flexibility in budgeting. So it's very, very expensive to go in and do all the removal of the trees when emerald ash borer enters a community.
Along with their report, Wallen students often spend time training citizen scientists and members of the community about how to spot signs of disease in their local trees. Having more eyes on the lookout for the insect could minimize damage.
And what did you guys find?
We didn't find any of the insects, which was really good news. The emerald ash borer is not yet in Vermont, so that was kind of expected, but it's definitely good that we didn't find any, of course. And we found that the trees were overall pretty healthy, which is also really great, because the more vigorous the trees are, the more likely they'll be able to combat the insect. So.
No woodpecker sign. I don't see any woodpecker holes.
Planting trees and maintaining healthy trees in urban areas has numerous benefits to the community that they might not even be aware of, like it can help retain heat because trees have a lot of leaves, and that helps to retain some heat, and then also providing shade, aesthetic values, also carbon storage. You know, these trees are soaking up carbon.
The students will be back in Winooski to finish their survey another day, spending time in the field to get their hands on and arms around their subject. In Winooski, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.
Well, thanks, Rebecca. Joining us now to talk further about the emerald ash borer is UVM Extension Forester Mary Sissek. Welcome.
Good morning.
Now, tell me a little bit about the borer itself. You've got an example of one right there. And
yeah.
So now, is this headed to Vermont?
It is, Judy. It's in every state that borders Vermont and Quebec. So it's just a matter of time before it gets here. And as you can see, it's a very tiny insect, so we have to watch carefully for its arrival.
And remind folks how it exactly spreads, because it's not like they're marching up the interstate.
No, they're not marching up, and as a matter of fact, they can only fly about half a mile a year. So the main way they spread is actually through hitching rides with people. Mm-hmm. People are the biggest transmitter of the emerald ash borer. They spread it by carrying firewood.
Now hold it still for just a second, because I'm really surprised. You know, you think about this insect that's doing so much damage to the trees, and you'd think it would be the size of, I don't know, a large cat. But it's really very tiny, and I would imagine kind of hard to spot.
It is hard to spot. And it is very tiny, but they do their damage in numbers.
Okay. And so how big of a problem is this?
It's a big problem. Once trees get infected, it's almost certain to die. Mortality is very close to 100%.
And so they can actually wipe out forests.
They can't wipe out all forests. They do focus on ash.
Just the ash.
But once they get into the ash, it is a big problem, and they're certain to die. And as you heard, we have a lot of ash in Vermont. And you've heard about from our students the benefits of those ashes. So it's a big problem.
Yeah, and so is there anything we can do to prevent the emerald ash borer? Is there a predator?
There are some natural predators in which the researchers are experimenting with using those predators. But the biggest thing we can do, the three things we can do, are things that people can do. Mm-hmm. We can stop transporting firewood, and if you buy firewood, ask where it comes from. Is it local firewood? So use local firewood and don't transport it. You can look for the emerald ash borer. You know, one of the key things to controlling the ash borer is early detection. So look up, keep an eye out for it, learn the signs and symptoms of it. Mm-hmm. We have the First Detectors volunteer program, so you can get training to learn about the signs and symptoms and how to spot the emerald ash borer. And there's some classes coming up in May and June, and if you go on vermontinvasives.org, you can learn about how to sign up for those. And then finally, to plan, because it will get here. But if you have a plan in place to react promptly, we can really slow the spread, and that'll give the researchers and scientists time to find the biological controls and maybe some natural resistance in the ash trees.
Are there things you could do? I mean, I think of some predators, and there was a time when we were ringing trees with certain substances that would stop the spread of some invasive species.
Yeah, we're not going to stop the emerald ash borer. Mm-hmm. Slowing it is the key. And if you know that you're within 25 miles of an infestation and have some very valuable home trees, mm-hmm. you can use insecticides to prevent that tree from getting infected. But that's very expensive, so that's really only for a few trees. Mostly we just want to slow it down and give ourselves time to find some natural
Quickly
resistance.
before we go, we've had a very cold, long winter. Will that affect the spread?
No, the emerald ash borer is from cold regions in Asia, and so that's not going to stop it.
Well, one of the things that we can all do is educate ourselves about the threat of the emerald ash borer. You can go to the website on your screen, vtinvasives.org, or to learn more, you can also get information by calling 1-800-571-0668. Mary, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Judy.
And bringing
pleasure.
the borer with us so that we know what we're looking for.
Yeah, look up.
Thank you. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.